The prisoner in the Kejedi alien city of Valnara was always cold, its sky covered with thick red clouds. The buildings stood tall, like silver bones. Creatures called Zyren walked the streets strong, proud, and full of power. Humans were nothing. More than old enemies to them, Kaela, a young Zyren girl, walked with her friends through the central square. They all stopped when they heard the heavy sound of chains. "Look," someone pointed. A human warrior was being dragged through the street by two Zyren guards. He was tall, with long hair, a wounded arm, and a cold, angry face. His clothes were torn, and his hands were tied behind his back. Kaela laughed. "Is this the great human warrior? He looks like a broken toy." Her friends laughed with her. Humans had once fought a war with the Zyrens and lost badly. Now they were rare. Most were dead or hiding on other planets. Kaela looked at the man closely. Something about him felt strange. Not weak, not scared, just quiet. "Where are they taking him?" one of the boys asked. "To the cage," Kayla said. "He will be questioned. And then, maybe, executed." Later that night, Kayla returned home. Her house was quiet. Her mother, Elira, was sitting by the window, staring at the stars. She was a healer, not a fighter, gentle, quiet, and wise. "Mother, did you see the human they brought today?" Kayla asked, sitting beside her. Elira nodded slowly. "Yes, he looked so weak. I laughed at him." Elira turned her head slowly. Her face was pale, her eyes wide. "Don't mock him, Kayla," she said softly. Kaela frowned. "Why? He's just a human. Our people crushed them." Elira stood up and walked to the other side of the room. Her voice shook as she spoke. "He is not just any human." Kayla stood up too, confused. "What are you saying?" Elira did not answer. She stared out the window again. The silence grew heavy. Kaela took a step forward. "Mother?" Elira turned, walked to her daughter, and placed a hand on her shoulder. Her voice was a whisper. "He is your father." Kayla froze. "What?" Her voice was barely a breath. 20 years ago, during the war, I found him wounded," Elira said. "I saved him. We hid for many days. Many nights. We thought we would die together. But we didn't. We survived. And then we lost each other." Kala's legs felt weak. She sat down. "You told me my father died in the war," she said. Elira nodded, eyes full of tears. "I thought he did, but now he's here." Kala's mind raced. Everything felt upside down. The man she laughed at in the street was her father. The next day, Kayla went to the central tower. At the bottom was the cage where prisoners were kept. She told the guards she had orders from the healing division. They let her in. The cell was dark. The humans sat on the floor, silent. Kayla stood outside the bars and stared. "Do you remember a Zyren healer from 20 years ago?" she asked. The man did not look up. "Do you remember someone named Elira?" The man's head turned slowly. His face changed. Pain. Surprise. Hope. "How do you know that name?" His voice was low, rough. Kaela felt her chest tighten. "Because she's my mother." The silence after that felt like thunder. He stood up and walked closer to the bars. His eyes studied her face. Double quotes. Then. "You're..." Kayla nodded slowly. "Yes." He fell to his knees. His hands touched the bars like he was holding something sacred. "I thought she was dead," he whispered. "I thought you never existed." Kayla didn't know what to say. She turned and walked away quickly. Outside the cage, her legs shook. Her heart pounded. She had mocked him, laughed at him. But now she knew the truth. He was the warrior everyone feared, and he was her father. Asterisk the forbidden truth. Night sky over Valnara was darker than usual. Black clouds moved silently, hiding the twin moons. A storm was coming not just in the sky, but inside Kella's heart. She couldn't sleep. Her mother's words echoed in her mind like thunder. He is your father. How could this be true? She had laughed at him, mocked him. But now her chest felt heavy with guilt and fear. Was she half human? Kayla stood near the mirror, staring at her reflection. She had always looked a little different, lighter skin, strange eyes, thinner limbs. She thought it was just bad luck. Now she knew the truth. She was not pure ZY Ron. Suddenly, everything made sense, the way her mother always kept her away from. Others never talked about the past, never spoke of her father. Ela looked at the closed door to her mother's room. She had questions, too many. And tonight, she needed answers. Lyra sat beside a small light, her eyes tired, her hands holding an old piece of cloth. It was human fabric, dirty, torn, and hidden for years. Kaela entered slowly. Mother. Tell me everything. Lyra did not look up. Her voice was soft. Are you ready? I have to know, Kayla said. Lyra took a deep breath. During the last days of the war, I was sent to the southern battlefield as a healer. There, I found a dying human soldier. Everyone else walked past him. I didn't. I saved him. Kayla listened, frozen. His name was Commander Ryan, Lyra said. He was strong, but kind, brave but calm. He had fire in his eyes, but not hate. You loved him, Kayla said. Lyra nodded. Yes, we hid for many weeks. The war was ending, and the world was falling apart. But in those hidden days, we built something. We were not Zyran or human, just two souls. Kayla swallowed hard. And then he was taken. I searched everywhere. I believed he died. Kayla stared at her mother. And you never told me? What would I say? Lyra asked, her eyes full of pain. That your blood would make you hated by both worlds? The next morning, Kayla walked alone to the tower prison again. But this time, she didn't come with lies. She came for the truth. She stood in front of the cage. Commander Ryan sat quietly, eyes closed, meditating. You knew her, Kayla said. His eyes opened. Yes, I never forgot her. And you left her? He shook his head. I was captured, taken by Zyran scouts. I tried to return, but no one would help me. I thought she was gone, and you you were just a dream. Kayla felt a strange warmth in her chest. His voice wasn't just strong. It was honest, tired, broken, but still alive. How did you survive all these years? She asked. He smiled faintly. Humans adapt. We hide. We wait. And sometimes we fight again. Kayla leaned closer to the bars. Why did you come back? I didn't. They caught me near the ruins. I was searching for old data, something that could end this war for good. End it? Kayla asked. You mean destroy us? No, Ryan said. Save both sides. Zyran leaders are hiding the truth. The war ended, but they kept the hate alive. They needed an enemy to stay in power. Kala's heart raced. Prove it. I can't, Ryan said. They took my data chip. Suddenly, loud boots echoed through the hallway. A Zyran commander, the same man who led Ryan's capture. He looked at Kayla with cold eyes. Why are you here again? Kayla stood tall. I have the right to see him. Not anymore, the commander growled. The council has ordered his execution. Tomorrow. Kayla's breath stopped. You can't, she shouted. Why do you care, child? The commander sneered. He's human filth. Kayla said nothing. but her eyes burned with fire. As the commander left, Ryan stood slowly. "You need to go," he said. "Forget me. Live your life." "No," Kayla said. "I won't let them kill you." Ryan looked at her with something close to pride. "You are your mother's daughter." Kayla stepped back into the shadows. Her hands shook. Her thoughts screamed. She had one night. One chance. Her father was going to die. Unless she did something impossible. That night, she returned home and opened her mother's old storage box. Inside were hidden medical uniforms, access cards, and a map of the prison tunnels. Lyra found her and gasped. "No, you can't. He's my father," Kayla said. "I won't let them erase him again." Lyra's eyes filled with tears. "Then take this." She handed Kayla a silver ring. "What is it?" "It belonged to him, and it opens the side gate of the tower. I kept it all these years, waiting." Kayla held the ring tightly. "If I don't return," she said, "tell the truth." Lyra placed a hand on her daughter's face. "You are the truth." And then Kayla disappeared into the night. Ready to break every law, ready to face every danger, because now she knew who she was. Not just a Zyran, not just a girl, but the daughter of a warrior, and the fire had only begun to burn. The mind-testy wind howled across the dark towers of Valnara as Kayla slipped through the back gate of the prison. Every step echoed like a heartbeat in her ears. The air was cold, sharp, and filled with danger. She had never broken a law before. Tonight, she would break all of them. Deep inside the tower, Commander Ryan sat in silence, chained to the wall. His wounds had been cleaned, but the pain remained, not just in his body, but in his heart. He had seen death, war, betrayal, but nothing felt as painful as seeing his daughter full of fear, full of fire, and knowing he might never hold her hand. Then the door creaked. He looked up, ready to face another interrogation. Instead, he saw Kaela. Covered in shadows, dressed in a healer's cloak, eyes sharp and focused. "You shouldn't be here," he said softly. "I had to come," she whispered. "We don't have much time." She walked to the wall and began unlocking the chains with the ring her mother gave her. "You don't know what they'll do to you," Ryan warned. "I don't care," Kayla replied. "You're my father." He went quiet. For a moment, the only sound was her breathing. "When did you know?" he finally asked. "Last night, Mother told me everything." He looked away. "I thought she was dead. I thought ... you never existed." "I didn't know I was half human," she said. "I hated humans. I laughed at you in the street." "And now?" he asked, voice low. "Now I don't know who I am," she whispered. "But I want to find out." They moved quickly through the tunnels below the tower. Kayla led the way. Her heart pounded as alarms buzzed faintly in the distance. Someone had noticed his cell was empty. Suddenly, Ryan stopped. "Wait," he said. "Look." They had entered an old research room, abandoned, dusty, filled with ancient tech. Glowing wires hung from the ceiling like vines. Ryan walked to a strange chair at the center of the room. "What is this place?" Kayla asked. "This is where they test minds," Ryan said. "This is where they once studied memory fusion." "Memory fusion?" "Zyrans believe knowledge is power. Long ago, they used this chair to steal memories from prisoners. Or to give them new ones." Kayla shivered. "It's horrible." "Yes," Ryan said, "but it can help us now. I need you to see the truth." "What truth?" "What I saw. What I know. They took my data chip, but the memories are still in my head. I can show you." "How?" He pointed to the chair. "You sit here. I guide the link." Kayla hesitated. The machine buzzed softly. A long needle extended from the helmet. "Will it hurt?" Only if you fight it, he said. She nodded slowly and sat down. Ryan placed the helmet over her head and activated the fusion panel. Close your eyes. In a flash, Keela's mind was pulled into a storm of light and sound. She saw fire. Screaming. Skyships crashing through cities. Children crying. Humans begging for peace, but Zyran soldiers kept attacking. She saw Ryan, much younger, leading a small group of survivors. We surrendered. One of the humans cried. We laid down our weapons. They don't care, Ryan shouted. Run. The images changed again. Kaela saw the Council of Zyrans, cold and calm, watching holograms of destroyed human colonies. They are weak, one council member said. We must make sure they never rise again. What about the peace talks? Another asked. Silenced, said the leader. We cannot risk unity. Fear keeps us strong. Kayla gasped. The war never needed to continue. The Zyran leaders chose it. To stay in power. Her eyes snapped open. They lied, she said, breathing fast. Everything was a lie. Now you know why I came back, Ryan said. I wasn't here for revenge. I was here for truth. We have to stop them, Kayla said. We will, Ryan replied. But first, we need to escape. Outside, sirens screamed. The tower was on full alert. CY guards ran through the halls, scanning every corner. Kaela and Ryan moved fast, hiding in shadow, staying low. As they reached the outer gate, a voice stopped them. Going somewhere? A tall Zyran officer stepped forward. His armor was dark red. His eyes burned with pride. Kaela froze. Uncle Torvak. Double quotes, she whispered. You always were too curious, Kayla, Torvak said. I told your mother this would happen. Ryan stepped in front of her. Let her go. I'm the one you want. Torvak smiled coldly. Yes. And now I have both. He raised his hand, ready to call for backup, but Kayla stepped forward. You told me humans were monsters, she said, but it was you. All of you. You kept the war alive. You are confused, Torvak hissed. You are broken blood. Maybe, Kale said, but I see clearly now. Before Torvak could respond, she pulled a flash device from her cloak and threw it to the ground. Boom. Bright light exploded. When the smoke cleared, Kayla and Ryan were gone. They ran through the ruins beyond the city, breath heavy, heart wild. Finally, they stopped near a quiet hill. You were amazing, Ryan said, smiling. Kayla laughed for the first time. We make a good team. They looked back at the city of lies. They were not safe, not yet, but for the first time. They were together. And the fight for truth had just begun. Escape from the Tower of the Ruins outside Valnara, whispered with ancient memories. Stone walls cracked. By stood like forgotten giants. Wind whistled through the shattered windows of buildings that once held life. But now they held secrets. Kaela and Ryan hid inside the skeleton of a fallen observation post. The moonlight through the broken roof painted strange shapes on the floor. Kaela sat with her back against the cold wall, breathing hard. Her heart hadn't slowed since they escaped the tower. Ryan was bleeding again, his side reopened during the run. He didn't complain. He never did. But Kayla could see the pain in his eyes. Let me see, she said. I've had worse, Ryan muttered. You're not alone anymore, she replied, her voice firmer than before. She took out her mother's old medical kit and worked in silence, wrapping his wound. Her hands moved fast-trained and calm, but her mind was racing. They were now fugitives. Half. The city would be searching for them. And her own uncle, Commander Torvak, would be leading the hunt. Far away. Back in the tower, Torvak stood inside. A war room, Red light glowed from a circular table. Holograms floated above it, maps, faces, blinking signals. "Find them," he ordered. "Alive," a young officer hesitated. "Sir, what if—" Torvak slammed his hand on the table. "Alive." He turned and stared out the wide glass window at the ruins beyond the city wall. "I should have ended this the day she was born." He whispered Dot back in the ruins. Ryan and Kayla found a hidden stairwell leading underground. Broken lights flickered along the walls. This was once part of an old Zyran research lab. "Do you know this place?" Kayla asked. "I trained here." "A long time ago," Ryan said. "Before the war went public. This was where secret missions were planned. Off the books." "Why are we here?" "Because if we want to survive, we need answers," Ryan said. "And power. There's something buried here. Something they thought was lost." Kayla followed as Ryan moved. Deeper. They reached a sealed door, half covered in dust and vines. Ryan placed his hand on the scanner. Nothing happened. "It's dead," Kayla said. "Not yet." Ryan took out a small energy core from his belt hidden from the guards when he was captured. He placed it into the panel. Click. The door groaned open. Inside was a room filled with forgotten tech tables covered with devices, blueprints, data. Cubes glowing faintly. And in the center stood something strange. A metal suit. Tall, silver, silent. "What is that?" Kayla whispered. "Zyran human hybrid armor," Ryan said. "Never finished. Built for peacekeepers before the war turned dark. It's not just armor. It's memory reactive." Kayla stepped closer. "It reacts to memories?" "Yes." "It chooses who can wear it. Only someone with both Zyran and human DNA can control it." Kayla turned to Ryan slowly. Ryan nodded. "It was made for someone like you. For the bridge that was never built." Kayla stared at the armor. Something inside her pulsed. Her blood. Her identity. Her power. Suddenly footsteps. Lots of them. Guards. Double quotes. "They found us," Ryan whispered. "There's no way out," Kayla said. "There's one way." Ryan looked at the armor. "Put it on." "I don't know how." "You don't have to. It will know you." Kayla stepped into the suit. It closed around her like a whisper. Not heavy like it was made just for her. Light pulsed from her hands. The room changed. Time slowed. She could feel everything. The heartbeat of the guards. Upstairs. The movement of wind. The hidden data in the walls. "Kayla," Ryan shouted. "We need to move." "Follow me," she said, her voice calm, almost glowing. The guards broke in shouting. Kayla raised one hand and a pulse of energy shot from her palm, pushing them back. "What is she?" one guard screamed. Ryan smiled. "The future." They fought through the old hallways, Kayla moving like lightning, armor responding to her every thought. She wasn't just defending, she was learning. Every second made her stronger. But Torvak was waiting. As they reached the surface, he stood alone. His eyes burned with rage. "You shame your blood," he growled. "You poisoned ours," Kayla replied. "You think that suit makes you powerful?" Torvak hissed. "It makes you a mistake." He raised his weapon. Kayla stood still. "No," she said. "It makes me a bridge." Boom. They clashed. Torvak was fast, brutal, skilled. Kayla fought back with instinct and fury. The ground shook beneath them. Ryan watched, injured but proud. Finally, Kayla disarmed Torvak and held him at the edge of the cliff. "Do it," Torvak said. "Prove you're a warrior." "No," Kayla said. "I'm not you." She let him fall, but into the hands of waiting human drones. "Below." "What?" Ryan looked up. "I called for help," Kayla said. "While we were in the lab, the armor sent a signal." Human ships now hovered above the ruins. For the first time in decades, they were back. not to attack Dot, but to unite Kaela, stood. At the edge of the ruins, wind in her hair, armor glowing softly, Ryan walked beside her. You were right, he said. You are more than Zyran. More than human. Kayla nodded. I am the daughter of both, and this time, the war ends with me. The lost battle there was still. Not a whisper of wind, not a single movement. Kaeli stood in the middle of the forgotten wastelands beyond Valnara, where no Zyran walked, where no map dared to mark. The land was blackened, dead, burnt ash by weapons that had no names. This place was not just empty. It was haunted by silence. Behind her, human ships circled high above like quiet guardians. Ryan stood beside her, tired but alive, watching. His daughter as she stared at the land that once held everything and now hid the truth. This is where it happened, isn't it? Kayla asked softly. Ryan nodded. Yes, the final battle of the old war, where everything was lost and everything was hidden. Kayla took a slow breath. What are we looking for? Not what, Ryan said. Who? They moved across the battlefield, now covered in rust and dust. Bones of broken war machines lay like dead beasts. Charred flags, cracked helmets, half-buried ID chips. Kaela stopped near a shattered human ship, half melted into the dirt. How many died here? Too many, Ryan said. And not all of them were warriors. Kayla looked around, eyes narrowing. I can feel something below us. The armor responded to her thoughts. Light rippled across its surface. It pulsed under her. Fingertips like it was remembering the place. Suddenly, a sharp pain hit her head. A vision flashed. Fire. A screaming child. Zyran soldiers ignoring surrender. Ryan dragging wounded humans into a cave, then dashed darkness. Kaela gasped and fell to her knees. Kayla, Ryan rushed to her. What did you see? They weren't just fighting, she said. They were silencing. Witnesses, yes, Ryan said quietly. They turned on their own. Zyrans who wanted peace were killed too. And the memory of it, was erased. Kayla looked up. And you saw it all? I did, and they tried to kill me for it. They searched for hours, moving deeper into the ruins. Finally, they reached a collapsed dome, once a neutral base during the final talks. Inside, buried beneath rubble, they found a sealed chamber. The door was still locked, still powered. Kaela placed her hand on it. The armor responded. The door opened. Inside was a chamber, untouched by time. In the center was a stasis pod. And inside the pod, floating in deep sleep, was AZY a female. Young. Wearing the robes of a peace envoy. Kaela stepped back, shocked. Who is she? Ryan walked slowly toward the pod. Her name was Syrah. She was one of the first Zyrans to speak against the war. She was brave. She tried to stop the final battle. I thought she died. Why is she still alive? They froze her, Ryan said. They hid her here because her memory holds the proof of what they did. Kayla stared at the pod. We have to wake her. We have to be careful, Ryan warned. After all this time, she might not remember anything. Or worse, she might remember everything. They activated the pod. The lights flickered. The glass hissed. Syrah's eyes slowly opened, golden, confused, full of fear and fire. She gasped and sat up, grabbing Ryan's wrist. You survived. Yes, he said softly. Her gaze shifted to Kayla. Who is she? Kayla stepped forward. My name is Kayla. I'm your future. Syrah's eyes widened. She looked at Kayla's armor, her face, the mix of blood in her features. Half-human. Half-zy ron. Double cos. She whispered, "The prophecy, Dottie? It's real." Kayla blinked. "What prophecy?" Sarah looked at Ryan. "You didn't tell her?" "I didn't believe it," Ryan said. "Until now." "What prophecy?" Kayla repeated. Sarah stood, weak but burning with purpose. That one day, a child of both worlds would rise not to destroy the war, but to end its reason, to bring the memories back. What memories? Sarah reached out and touched Kella's forehead. In a second, visions flooded her mind. A Zyron child crying as her father was killed for trying to sign peace papers. A human family hiding Zyron refugees in their basement. Young Kayla, still a baby, being hidden by Alira in a forest as fire rained down. And Torvak. Standing over a pile of bodies, eyes empty. Kela fell to her knees. They lied to everyone. They erased the pain. The truth. Yes, Sarah said. And you are the key to unlocking it. Outside the chamber, Zyron drones scanned the land. Inside, a plan was forming. Sarah would speak before both sides. Her memories would be projected. And Kyla, wearing the armor of unity, would stand as living proof that both bloodlines could exist, not in war, but in peace. But nothing comes without a price. They will hunt us, Ryan said. They already are, Kayla replied. Sarah looked up. They will try to silence me again. Then we protect you, Kayla said. But how do you convince a world built on lies? Ryan asked. With something stronger than fear, Kayla said. With the truth. As night fell, they left the ruins. Behind them lay the battlefield of the lost. Ahead of them, the capital city. A place of power. And secrets. As they walked, Kayla whispered to herself, the words soft but certain. I am not a soldier. I am not a child. I am the last wound they couldn't hide. And soon. The world would feel it open. Bloodlines came at dawn. A shadow blocked the first sun over Valnara, then the second. Silent ships descended like ghosts, and from them an army poured across the ruins. Kayla didn't hear them coming. She felt them. She and Sarah had camped in the old forest's edge while Ryan scouted ahead. Birds were still chirping when the first stun blast hit the trees. Run! Sarah shouted. But Kayla already knew. They had been found. They didn't make it far. A net of energy wrapped around Kayla mid-jump. Her armor sparked and flickered, trying to fight back. She landed hard in the dirt, rolling, coughing, her head spinning. Sarah screamed. More blasts followed. And then nothing. Kayla woke in chains. Metal cuffs pulsed with green light, designed to suppress hybrid power. Her armor was gone. Her body ached. And across from her, inside a dark, cold chamber, stood Commander Torvak. He clapped slowly. So the half-blood wakes. Kayla glared at him. You're lucky we didn't kill you in the field, he said. Some of the council want you executed immediately. Others want to study you. Of course they do, Kayla muttered. You destroy what you don't understand and lock up what scares you. Torvak smiled. And you scare many. Kayla looked around. Where's my father? Back in the ruins, perhaps dead. Perhaps not. We took what we wanted you. She pulled against the cuffs, rage burning in her chest. You'll never stop the truth. Truth? Torvak laughed. Truth is a tool. And yours is dangerous. Hours passed. No food, no light. No answers. Kaela, single quotes, body weakened, but her mind sharpened. Pain had a way of burning off everything useless, leaving only the purest part of who you were. And Kayla was done being afraid. Finally, the door opened. Not Torvak. Her mother stood in the doorway, her face pale, her eyes full of pain. Mother. They Let me see you, Illyra whispered. Briefly. They're going to kill me, Kayla said. Or worse. Illyra stepped forward and touched her daughter's face gently. You are stronger than them. They took my armor, my strength. No, Illyra said. They only took metal. You are the weapon. Kela's voice broke. You should have never fallen in love with a human. None of this would have happened. Illyra smiled sadly. I didn't fall in love with a human. I fell in love with a man who wanted peace. And from that love came the one who can finish what we started. Kayla looked down at the floor. I don't know if I can. Then let me remind you who you are. Illyra placed her hands on Kela's temples. Light flash dot images poured into Kela's mind memories. Illyra had hidden deep inside her a small girl, running through forest paths with laughter. A man Ryan teaching her to hold a wooden sword. Secret voices in the dark, speaking of peace, unity, and hope. But then, fire, betrayal, Torvak discovering Illyra's secret, exile, silence, and the quiet promise. Someday, she return and burn down your lies. Kayla opened her eyes, breathing hard. They won't break me, she said. No, Illyra whispered. You were born to break them. Torvak returned, this time not alone. The Zyran High Council walked into the chamber tall, cloaked, eyes hidden behind silver masks. Voices that had shaped the war for decades. Manipulators, kings of shadows. You have disrupted balance, one said. Your bloodline is a threat, said another. Kaela stood despite the chains. My bloodline is your failure. The masks turned toward each other. We can end you now, Torvak said. Erase your name, your story, your legacy, or ... Kayla said, her voice calm but deadly. You can let the people see what I've seen, what you've hidden. A pause. Then, for the first time, fear flickered in Torvak's eyes. You don't have the memory device, he said. I don't need it, Kayla replied. With a sudden breath. She concentrated. Deep inside her chest, the armor's core still lived. Not outside her inside. It had bonded with her DNA, and it answered her now. The cuffs snapped. The light exploded. The walls shook. Guards shouted. But Kayla was already moving. She fought not with steel, but with precision. Flowing like wind, striking like fire. Within moments, only Torvak remained standing. Weapon drawn, hate burning bright. You'll die like your father, he hissed. Kaela paused. ... So he's alive. Torvak froze. A mistake. Kayla struck, and the commander finally fell. Outside, the council's guards closed in, but they didn't fire. They were watching. Seeing her. Behind them, civilians. Cyrons. Humans. News had spread. Syrah's signal had reached allies. Ryan had survived and leaked the proof. And now, Kayla stood before them. Tall, silent, alive, a daughter of bloodlines, broken, but whole. My name is Kayla, she said, voice ringing across the square. I was born from war, raised in silence, trained in truth. You were lied to. Gasps, murmurs. They used your fear to stay in power. They buried peace to grow control. She stepped forward. But we're done living under ghosts. She raised her hand. Behind her. The projection from Syrah's memory showed the truth. Innocence killed, peace betrayed, history rewritten. No one could look away. Not anymore. Some council members tried to run. Others dropped their masks. The world had seen. And the world would not forget. Later, Kayla stood with her father and mother, both scarred but smiling. What now? Ryan asked. We rebuild, Kayla said. Not just cities. What else? Truth and something better. Because bloodlines didn't make monsters. Lies did. And Kayla. She was the cure, Asterisk. The warrior's daughter city of Valnara was no longer silent. Smoke curled above the skyline, not from war, but from the crumbling towers of control. The council building stood half-ruined, its silver spires cracked, its banners burned by. Truth, the people were rising, not in fire, but in awakening. Kaela stood at the center of it all, on the high platform once used for public executions, now surrounded by both Zyran and human citizens. Her black and silver armor gleamed in the morning light, alive with pulses of energy. The sun rose behind her, casting a long shadow across the square. She wasn't afraid. She wasn't hiding. She had survived chains, lies, betrayal, and exile. Now. The eyes of two worlds were watching. Waiting. And Kayla was ready. This is the place where your leaders brought judgment, she said, her voice echoing from hidden speakers. But today, judgment does not belong to them. Behind her stood the remaining members of the High Council, unmasked, silent, stripped of command. Beside them was Commander Torvik, his wrists bound in metal cuffs, his eyes still full of fury, but his body broken. Ela continued. They told you humans were monsters. They told you Zyrans were perfect. They lied. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. My name is Kayla, daughter of Illyra, a Zyran healer, daughter of Commander Ryan, a human warrior. My blood is both. My truth is mine. She paused. They tried to erase me. Erase peace, erase history. But memories don't stay buried forever. She gestured, and a large hologram activated behind her Sira's mind stream, combined with recovered battle memories from the stasis vault. Images flickered. Zyran soldiers killing their own peace envoys, human civilians protecting Zyran children, and the council giving secret orders to continue a war already won. Some Zyrans gasped. Others fell to their knees in shame. Humans stood still, some with tears in their eyes. Kaela, single quotes, S voice hardened. You let fear write your future. Now it's time to take the pen back. Down below, in the crowd, Ryan watched silently. He had once led armies. Now he watched his daughter lead a planet. Beside him, Illyra's hand trembled slightly, but her eyes were steady. She's not just our child, Illyra whispered. She's everyone's chance. A young Zyran boy stepped forward from the crowd. But. What comes next? He asked. Kaela looked down at him. Not war, she said. Not revenge. We rebuild. Together. I am not here to lead forever. I am here to open the door. She turned toward the council members. You silenced peace once. Now peace will silence you. The council was taken into custody, not by force, but by the very people they had ruled. Not a single weapon. Fired. Just truth. And that was more powerful than any gun. Weeks passed. Kayla worked day and night, bringing together leaders from hidden human colonies and Zyran factions, long cast out for wanting unity. A new council began to form, not of races, but of voices. Laws were rewritten. Truth was taught. Old ruins were turned into schools, not prisons. And every child born from both sides was no longer called a mistake. They were called future burn. One day, Kayla stood alone at the edge of the forest, where the trees whispered memories. A small grave lay beneath a flower tree, simple and silent. It belonged to the peace envoy, Sira, who had given her life weeks after the uprising her mind damaged. By years of stasis, her body weak. Kaela placed a hand on the stone. You were the first to believe, she whispered. I'll never forget. Footsteps approached. It was Ryan. They want you in the capital, he said. Election ceremony? Kayla smiled. I'm not going. He blinked. What? I told them from the beginning, she said. I'm not building a throne. I'm building a bridge. Once it's standing, I walk away. And go where? Kayla looked at the stars. Everywhere. There are still broken places. Still voices lost. Still stories buried. They'll need someone to help dig them out. Ryan placed a hand on her shoulder. You are my daughter, he said, with quiet pride. Double quotes, no, Kyla replied, smiling. I'm the daughter of a world that finally woke up. That night, as both moons rose above Valnara, light shone across the once divided city. Human and Zyran children played together in the streets. Books replaced banners. And for the first time in over a generation, no one heard the sound of sirens. Only laughter. And hope. Some wars are fought with guns, others with lies, but the ones that change the world are fought with truth and won by those brave enough to remember.